There are so many important terms that should be included in shareholder agreements to ensure that everyone's on the same page. The first is ownership. It sets forth each person's ownership interests or percentages in the company. Next, you want to make sure that your shareholder agreement includes voting rights and decision making. So it's important to think about the decisions that will need to be made as you start and grow your business and determine the thresholds for decision making. So you might have some decisions like bringing on an investor or issuing more stock that might need a unanimous vote, while other decisions would need a lesser threshold, such as a majority vote. Sometimes there's a separate voting agreement, but if there isn't, then this should be included in the shareholder agreement. Next, you need to deal with deadlocks and disputes. If there's a dispute between shareholders, you will want to make sure that you have a process to handle it in your shareholders agreement. Whether you set up an advisory board or a committee can't be resolved within a certain amount of time, or you come up with something else, then it's essential to include this in the shareholders agreement. Next is the valuation method. It's important to include the valuation method because in the event somebody needs to leave the company, you need to know how their interests are going to be valued. There are many different ways to value a company, and it'll be important to discuss the various ways to determine what makes most sense for your company. You might also want to have different valuation methods for different scenarios. So if a shareholder is forced to transfer the shares back to the company in the event the shareholder did something fraudulent, for instance, a company might want to value the shares differently than otherwise. Next is transfer rights. If somebody's leaving the company, you want to make sure that you include parameters around the third parties whom the departing shareholder can transfer his or her shares to, so that you're not left doing business with somebody that you didn't anticipate. There are even instances where the company would have the right to repurchase the shares before being presented to a third party. Next is the board. The board of a corporation basically oversees the company's activities from management to operations and strategy. It's important to identify the number of board members, the name of the initial board member, and a clear process around how to change a board member.